Hi, Rose.
Hello.
Welcome to the PLT podcast.
Thank you.
It's so nice to have you here.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
You've brought a dog on set today.
I know, the cutest dog, right?
I am just going to tell everyone now, a dog could jump in at any moment. Tell me, what's his name?
Sambu.
Sambu is here, and let me tell you, he's beautiful. I hope you guys watch on YouTube get to see him when maybe if he jumps on the bed.
Yeah, he can,
is
right?
So much fun. I'm obsessed. So we wanted to get you in today just to get to know you and everything about you. You've been a very busy girl, but first of all, you're a PLT Brand Ambassador.
Yes.
So that's a big deal. We wanted to get you in. You know, you represent our company and you work well with us. So what made you first decide to work with PLT as a brand?
Well, PLT in itself is a super nice brand. I love it because it's very young. Mm-hmm. It's very like fun, which I am as well. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, I have a lot of friends that also work with PLT.
Yes.
One of my very good friends, he works for PLT. So it was kind of like almost perfect to do this collaboration together, just because when you work with a brand, it's just very important to have like a good relationship.
Yeah.
And I had met Umar before and all that, so I just thought like, why not? You know, I think it could be like great. And I was when I signed my first contract and I started working with PLT, everything went super well. So I signed a second contract. So now I'm like on my second contract. So it's like super cool. Yeah.
And have you had fun?
Yeah, for sure. Because I've been shooting like monthly with them, and like you can just get to put your own input. Yeah. So as an ambassador, that's really nice because I get to choose what I want to wear. So it's like kind of more like just showing who you are as a person. So they really let you be yourself, which I love with PLT is that, you can, if you post pictures, it's just like who you are as a person. You can choose your own outfits, locations, the people you want to work with and shoot with. So it's really just Sambu.
If you can hear, Sambu is in the background, but
right.
it's so cool. Like, I'm so happy right now.
So yeah, it's really just like being yourself as an ambassador, and I just love it. Yeah.
And you're Belgian born and an international model at just the age of 24. Tell me, how have you made all of this happen?
Oh, this is such a long story, but
I'm ready for it. Let's go back to the beginning.
So I started modeling at a really young age. I did like kids modeling and stuff. So at the age of 13, my mom was like, maybe you should do it like on, a more professional scale. Let's go to an agency and see what they say. So we went to an agency and they were really interested in signing me and doing like some jobs here and there, very commercial stuff. And then, of course, school is still in it. So it's hard to do it on a professional level. And I was really not thinking of doing anything professional at the age of 13.
No, that's it.
But then when the age of 17 hit, I was like, I fucking hate school. Sorry for cursing.
You can curse. You're good.
Yeah, I hate school. I just feel like I can do so much more, and I have so much more in me than just going to school and then learning books and stuff. So I was just like, I want to model on a serious level. And when you do that, you have to travel. You have to basically just put everything aside and then make that decision, because you can't make a decision of becoming a model around 20 after you're done with school. So it's a decision you have to make when you're young, right? But the thing with me is that I've always been on the short side and not super skinny. So I was not in model dimensions at all. So when I started modeling, they've always told me it's just a side thing. You'll never do anything. Yeah, you'll never do anything big. Even my own agency said that it would be hard. They would help me, but it would be hard. Because I had all these things in mind to go to London and Paris and have an agency in New York. So then I was I'm very stubborn as a person. So I was just fuck it, let me just quit school.
Really?
I started traveling on my own, reaching out to photographers, doing test shoots. And that's kind of the time when Tumblr was kind of popular. So then when I was posting my photo shoots, I was getting many reposts and stuff. So then Instagram started. I was getting a following on Instagram as well.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like in the moment where, you know, the influencer like situation was happening.
Yeah, it was beginning.
Yeah. So then with that, I was going with like books, like, you know, a book, you know, when you do like a modeling book and you
so
have like photographers. Yeah, like a portfolio. I went to like London, Paris, and they all said no.
Really?
Yes, they all said no. They were like, "You're too short. We can't sign you. You're too short."
For listeners who don't know, how tall are you?
I'm 168 in like European size.
What's
so
that
that's
in
like
feet? Do you know?
6'7".
Okay, and like
no, sorry, 6'7". That's like that's a
oh yeah, I didn't even bat an eyelid. No, it's 5'7".
No,
then.
5'7".
5'7".
I mean, yeah.
So like the stereotypical like height model is about 5'10", 5'11",
Yes.
6 foot.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you were just a little bit shorter than
Yeah.
that, really.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So then they were just like, "You're too short," and I was just so mad that I was like, I don't know. I had to figure it out like in a different way. So then what happened is that one of my friends from London, he had an agency in London, and they were really interested. Like after a few months, they reached out to him and they were like, you know, your friend, she's actually, you know, a great looking girl. Maybe we want to sign her.
Yeah.
So then I went back to London. I met up with them, and that's how it all started. I like got an agency there. They booked me on a job with Jürgen Teller, which is like a huge photographer. I did like a Jambox campaign with him, and then at that time I was traveling to New York to try, you know, to find an agency there as well. And my Jambox campaign had just came out, so it was like on a big billboard in New York.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
so
cool.
that was like so crazy for me because, you know, from going to agencies that didn't want to sign me to having like a big billboard with Jürgen Teller, shot by Jürgen Teller, is crazy. So then I had an agency in New York. A lot of agency also said like, you know, cool campaign, but you're just too short. We can't like have you work here. So then one agency signed me. And I guess like that's where I just felt like, okay, this is going the right direction. I have an agency in New York. I started doing castings, being there like full time. And then the first big casting that I had was Sports Illustrated.
Okay.
And I guess I've like always kind of remained myself.
Hello. Okay, for everybody
here.
listening, the dog has just jumped on the bed and I'm just in a dream world.
Right?
Sorry, carry on.
So
good.
so then I met up, I had a casting with Sports Illustrated, and I've always kind of, you know, been myself. I mean, people always tell me, yeah, you're kind of crazy. Like I'm just like kind of all over the place. But because I remain myself, I think that played a big part in my career as well. Because people just maybe like me as a person. They like me on set. It's like better than being like a miserable person, you know?
Positive.
So that helps a lot. And I booked Sports Illustrated. I worked with them for 3 years. And in that meantime, I did a lot of other jobs. Like one big thing was working with Patrick de Marchelier. He's a really big photographer as well. I did like a campaign with him. I did many things for L'Oreal as well, like L'Oreal campaigns, which is
massive.
Big as well. Yeah, it's
definitely.
like big in beauty. And I just like over time I just work myself to, you know, a certain level, and I build a name for myself, and I'm just like kind of expanding to different things that I'm working on now.
And I'm interested, so when you said, you know, you kind of left Belgium and you started traveling and you were going to agencies and they were kind of turning you down, how old were you at this point?
I think around like 18.
18.
Yeah.
So that's a huge thing to have left your family home and you were traveling on your own, I guess.
Yeah.
And you're going to these agencies and you're getting rejected.
Yes.
How did you deal with that as a person? Like, that must be really hard to go through.
Yeah, it was really hard. And I think that, like I say, the thing that like really got me through it is that I'm a stubborn person. And I also like kind of, I've been like kind of in that industry where, you know, at a young age, I was going to Cannes and I was living like the life of like a person of like in their 20s. So I don't know what it is, but you feel like there's something that's like things that come on your path as like, you know, a young girl. Like if I wouldn't have any opportunities in front of me, I would be like, well, this is not working. But because I was getting opportunities and I was going to Cannes and, you know, I was seeing like all these beautiful women on like a carpet and getting ready and getting attention. And I was always like, oh my God, you know, like I want to live that life one day.
Wow.
That's like, that was like kind of a dream. And then, you know, 2 years ago, I did my first big Cannes carpet. And when I was on the carpet, I was like, it's so crazy from being, you know, a little girl trying to get in everywhere and, you know, trying to be seen and, you know, get a career, then being on the carpet officially and people knowing who you are. It's so crazy.
Wow.
So, yeah, I just feel like I just followed my dreams and just like my intuition. And I think that's what like made it happen. Yeah.
And what would you say kind of made you stand out when you started getting the bookings? What do you think made you stand out to, you know, casting directors? Because we spoke about your height, and I want to know, like, there may be other girls in the industry that are trying to do the same thing, and they might not be the stereotypical model height, let's say. So what do you think made you stand out in the casting room? If that's what you call it.
Yeah,
I mean, I've never been in one myself. But
no, it is definitely like, it's castings. It's like you meet people. It's all about also just like how you handle yourself. I think like if you're, because it's like it's a tough world, you know. It's like it's events, it's going out, it's like it's when you're doing this full-time modeling thing, it's like a lot. So I just think it's all about like, you know, how you are as a person. You're strong enough, you need character, you need to say no when you have to say no, you need to say yes when you have to say yes, you know. It's like it's all about balance, I think. And I think it's all about energy as well. Like when people see you and, you know, and they get to know you and they like you as a person, I think that's like the most important.
So it's nice to know that for anybody who is listening that's an aspiring model, you know, it is possible. You don't need to be 5'9", 10, 11, you know, etc. You don't need to be 6 foot tall.
And I just think that for me, it was like my breakthrough was right in the moment where they were giving chances to girls that were less tall. You know what I mean? Like, for example, there's a lot of models nowadays. I feel like there's this moment where everyone right now has like a chance to be themselves, you know, and to do what they like, and they get that chance. And I feel like I was right in that moment, and that's why I got lucky, you know. And for me, it's like I'm like in the middle part, because I've grown like as a model in the fashion industry, but then also on the side as just like my influencer side and like my commercial side. So for me, it's like a mixture of things, you know. It's like I'm not just like a fashion model, you know. And that's why, because I'm not super tall and because I'm like not on like, you know, I wasn't on the skinniest side before, or like, you know, the model dimensions. For me, it was just like I got lucky because we had this thing where Instagram and all these followers and like just being someone and an influencer helps you a lot. So I think that's what helped me as well.
I want to talk about social media and your influencer life a little bit later on, but first of all, I've got to mention the Vogue cover. So the Vogue Netherlands, what an achievement for you. You shot a cover whilst pregnant. I think you were the only person ever to do that.
Well,
is that right?
In the Netherlands, and like where I'm from, yes. Yeah. I saw Miranda Kerr did one time, and then Giselle Bundchen. Yeah. But those are like next level shit, you know.
Your like next level models. Shit, okay.
No, but they're, you know, they're like icons. Yeah. So like the only that was like, those are the only two persons that I know shot like a pregnancy Vogue cover. So that was like a big deal for me, because they obviously like I dreamed of getting like a Vogue cover. Yes. And they wanted to shoot like just a story inside of the magazine with me. Wow. So the original job was an editorial. Okay. It wasn't a cover. So I did like the whole shoot thinking it was like an editorial.
So you didn't even know you were going to be on the cover? No. Stop. Carry on. Tell me more. Yeah. Whoa.
So they booked me. They were like, it's like an editorial. And then, you know, and then my manager called me. He's like, oh my God, you have like the cover. Oh yeah. Like
That's an emotional moment.
yeah, I know. I want to cry again now.
That's do we need some tissues? I'm like emotional thinking of it. So you honestly,
I didn't even know I was gonna get emotional talking about it.
Do you want some tissues?
No, it's okay.
You're
It's okay. Yeah, it was like a big moment, you know?
It's like,
Yeah.
I can't even imagine how big of a moment it was. Like, for me to note that down to say, like, right, we've got to talk about the Vogue cover, because that's got to be a massive highlight of your life and career, no?
Yeah, it is definitely, because I was pregnant as well. So it's like the fact that you get booked for an editorial and then you're pregnant and you hope one day you can have like a Vogue cover. There were like too many aspects for it not to become like a cover, you know? So when they said it was like I had the cover, I was like, oh my God, it was crazy. I didn't even know, like, it's like when you're like dreaming or something. Yeah. When my manager called me, I was like, like, it's impossible. It's impossible. So like I needed a good 10 minutes to get back to, you know, reality. I was like, it's impossible. And I couldn't believe it until I saw the cover, you know? It's like, you know, when people tell you you're going to have a cover and you just, you can't see the cover, you're like, no.
So you didn't even know what picture it was going to be?
No.
Had you seen any of the images before it went live?
Well, I knew kind of like how the shoot would look like, but I didn't really know like what the cover would look like. So then I had the moment where the Vogue editor revealed it to me. And
oh my God.
It was impossible. Like when I saw it, I was like, it's like I can't even talk right now.
A dream.
Yeah, so it's still like a very big like achievement for me.
Yeah.
To like, so once I got that, I was like, fuck that, I'm quit modeling.
I'm done. Life made.
Okay,
that's it.
Yes, exactly.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
And how did your like friends and family react? So you left home at such a young age. You've left your family. Are your family still
in Belgium.
Still in Belgium.
Yeah.
Okay. So how did they react to see their daughter who's gone off to live her dream?
Yeah. I feel
to
like
reach that moment in your life, like, wow.
Yeah, well, I feel like I've always been kind of like the special one, you know, like even at school and just like in general in life, I've always been kind of like all over the place.
Yeah.
And I left home right when I met my boyfriend. Okay. So we moved in together like in the year of me turning 19.
Wow.
So yeah, so I moved to Paris, and that was like, so it was kind of like all like, I don't know, destiny or something, because then I got an agency in Paris, and I was, you know, working a lot there, and I was flying back and forth to New York, and it was kind of like all in that moment. And you know, when you have a relationship, it's hard to maintain like traveling all the time. So of course I put my relationship in the first place, and there's a lot of things that I didn't do, you know, because of, you know, having a relationship, living in Paris, not being able to be in New York full time. But I feel like even with all of that, it was like a great mix together. Yeah. Just because, you know, I think that just being mentally, like mental health is really important, and stability is really important. So if you are a young girl and you're traveling to New York and you have all these opportunities, it's hard, you know? Yeah. So I had like him as like, he would like keep me on the ground and, you know, like have like a more of a stable life. So I chose both of those. And like, I'm happy I did. I'm really happy. Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about your boyfriend. So he's a football player or soccer player, you might say?
Yeah, soccer player.
Tell us a little bit about him. I didn't realize you met him so young.
Yeah. We've been together for a really long time now.
Wow.
Yep.
How did you guys meet?
Well, we met in Amsterdam at a concert.
No, what concert?
Wiz Khalifa concert.
Wow, Wiz Khalifa concert. Yeah. Oh my God, that's amazing. Okay. Tell me more.
Mutual friends, and I fell in love right away. He's an amazing person. Wow. He plays soccer. Well, he used to play soccer. He's retired now. That's why we moved to LA.
Wow. So you all moved to LA now permanently?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah. So we just bought a house here. We're all here.
And you have a beautiful baby girl?
Yeah.
Let's talk about her. Hello, the doggy is back.
Sit.
Are you going to sit down?
Good boy.
Wow. I
Good
mean,
boy.
like, listeners, you're just, I'm so sorry you can't see him right now because he's just the most
Here,
beautiful
turn
dog I've
around.
ever seen in my life. Just
Yes.
like
Yay.
Rose, so beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
So you've moved permanently to LA. You've got a beautiful baby girl. At just 24, you are juggling this amazing career, amazing lifestyle, a baby girl, and this gorgeous little puppy. How are you doing it all?
Honestly, I'm asking myself sometimes, how am I doing this? But yeah, it's like I say, it's all about balance.
Yeah.
If I need like a few days just at home, just with the family and just not thinking about work and like, because it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
It's a lot of being seen, being out because you have to stay relevant and all that kind of, stuff. So it's, it's a lot, and there's a lot like traveling involved and, with a baby that's not as easy, and, that's now a priority for me, since I'm a mom. So that's why I think it's good to start something. Like, I thought it was good for me to start something on my own instead of like traveling the whole time, and like I can't do that anymore. So then I started my meal prep company, Chubby and Shape.
Tell us about that.
That's like in the Netherlands and Belgium. And I've always been like a food person and like struggling kind of with my weight. Like, I've never been like, a big person, but you require certain like sizes when you model, and I didn't have those, and I've always like had like a hard time with like getting in shape and having abs, and like it made me really crazy. Like at some point when you're that young, you just like, I was literally comparing myself to like every girl like in the modeling industry. When I had a shoot, I was like, looking at their stomach and like how flat it was, and like I would eat something, go to the bathroom, and just look at my stomach if it had changed, like that. Like, it was that serious. So then I just felt like that needs to be over. Like, I can't, like, you can, like, even if my boyfriend will look at this and he will be like, oh my God, I remember the times where I wouldn't even eat sushi because it was like with rice.
Carbs.
So I would like not eat carbs.
Wow.
Only eat like the fish and stuff. It was insane. And then like at some point I was like, okay, this needs to stop. It's just like me, like I'm young, my body is changing. I still have baby fat. Like, I can't, do this to myself. So then I just started changing the way I eat. I was still eating like, carbs, working out, like just like more like whole wheat things, just replacing certain ingredients with like, more healthy ingredients. So then that's kind of like how Chubby and Shape started, is that I still want to eat, the fattening things, but just with moderation and better like ingredients. So I have like a recipe book now that came out last month with amazing recipes that I created that are still like good and fattening but healthy.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm really excited.
That's another
about
amazing
that.
achievement.
Yeah.
Congratulations to
thank
you. But sitting here talking to you, I would look at you and I've always sort of followed you for a long time, and I'd never ever realized that you sort of maybe struggled with your body image when you were first modeling, and it's hard to actually comprehend that, because I'm looking at you and I'm like, you're incredible, like everything about you. And I know that was obviously a while ago, but how did you sort of overcome that? And I kind of want to talk about like the pressures of a model, because it's, you were so young, and to be pressured into looking a certain way or to fit the dimensions, as you say, which is quite a serious thing for a young mind. Like, how was it going through that?
Well, it is hard because, when you, for example, when you have an agency, they tell you all the time, you have to be in shape, you have to look good. They'll send you to a casting and ask you like, do you look good? Are you in shape? And like, how do you as a young girl, how do you decide that? Do I look
What's
in shape?
What's it based on? Yeah, what is good?
Yeah, what is good?
Yeah.
So at some point I was just like, I'm just myself and I'm me. And when I started shooting Sports Illustrated, that's when I realized we're like all different. We're all in, different sizes, different shapes. There's never one time when I shot Sports Illustrated that I felt like, oh my God, they don't like my body or they think I'm too fat. They were really like, they loved you like as how you are,
Yeah.
So that for me was like, you know, a big help because I got really comfortable in my skin. And then, you know, when you do something so amazing and it's like based on, you know, your body and everything, you get more, you get more self-love. Yeah. Just like your self-esteem becomes bigger and you're just yourself, and you can see that, okay, it doesn't matter how your body looks, just be like the best version of yourself. So I think that's what like helped me a lot. It's just like becoming the best version of myself and stop to compare to you know, other girls, because some girls are born with abs, you know what I mean? So it's like I can crunch for like 1,000 times a day, I still won't have those abs because my body is just not made that way. So it's just like about accepting yourself the way you are. I've always been like bigger sized on, you know, my boobs. Now I gave birth and it's kind of gone, so I don't have the same size boobs anymore. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So weird. They got smaller, which is good because I always wanted smaller boobs.
Really?
And like, yeah, I did like, you know, VS was my dream.
Yeah.
And I did many castings, and like I've heard a lot that my boobs were just too big. Like they give you like B-size bras at the castings, and my boobs were just too big for the B size. So that's a lot of times that I got rejected just because I had, you know, big boobs. And then with Sports Illustrated, they loved the big boobs. So it was like, so yeah.
So with that, do you think you'll ever go and try to cast for VS again?
Yeah, because I think that they are always looking for something different, you know? And I always wanted to cast for the show. I had like possibilities to do it. But that was about like, you know, before I gave birth, I was supposed to go to the casting for like the runway. And that's like all like, they have to approve you. Like you can't just go to the casting and be like, hi, I'm here. It's like they really like yeah, it's kind of like a booked casting. So I was pregnant, like I got pregnant, so I wasn't even able to do it because I was like, obviously I'm not gonna work out like a crazy girl being pregnant. So I was like, okay, it's not the right time. So then after the year after was like the second casting. And I could do it again, but then I was just still not in shape. And I'm not like Adriana Lima that like, you know, jump ropes like 3 hours a day. So respect to that, by the way, because like she's killer. But I'm just, I couldn't do that. Like I just also wanted to give myself like, you know, a break, and I had just, you know, given birth. So I was just like, I need to enjoy this moment. And this is like, this year's casting, I don't know if I can do it, but I heard that they're, you know, quitting. They're not going to do the shows anymore, I think.
So the show won't go on? What is that in terms of it airing?
I think they're just not like doing any VS shows anymore. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, I don't want to give like the wrong information, but I heard something about that.
That's interesting.
So yeah, I'm kind of sad. That's like one thing that I feel like
you really want to do.
Yeah, I really wanted to do. And even if they don't pick me, just like, you know, doing it would be like a great achievement. So, but yeah, we'll see. Well,
I'm sure if it's not that, something else will be that thing for you. You know, you're going to do amazing things.
Yeah.
Now, you spoke before about your height and about how now it's kind of changing a little bit. Have you felt a shift in the industry? Because I feel the modeling industry has become a lot more inclusive. Do you feel that as well?
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of like people that, or like models or influencers that do jobs where I'm like, wow, I didn't even realize that was possible, you know? Yeah. I think it's great because I feel like being an influencer is like better than being a model now.
Really?
I feel like, yeah.
I mean, they're both incredible things.
Well, it's both like really nice, but I mean in the sense of you get to do more things by being an influencer than just being a model. Yeah. Like brands want you to do more than just being a model. They want you to have a charity. They want you to have maybe your own brand, or just something you can talk about. You need to be like more than just like a pretty face.
Having your voice as well, I guess.
So I think that's like something really nice, because you can develop yourself in so many ways, and brands and, you know, models or influencers can do things together that make it even, you know, more powerful. So I think that's like really cool. So I'm an influencer now. I'm not a model anymore.
I mean, you're doing both. And really, I'm going to go over to that in just a moment, because I just want to finally talk about your daughter. I think we got a bit chit-chatty there, so I need to find out what's going on. Like, how old is your daughter now? What's her name? Tell me about her. I want to know everything.
Her name is Nalea.
Nalea?
Yeah.
What a beautiful name.
Thank you. Yeah, I actually found it like through like a name. I saw a name online. It was Nayeli.
Oh.
And then when my boyfriend got home, I was like, oh my God, I found a name. I was like, Nalea. And I'm like, oh shit, no, it's Nayeli. And then I ended up choosing, you know, the name that I didn't spell right.
Wow.
Because it's also kind of more girly, Nalea. Nayeli is more like, you know, interesting and special. Nalea as well, but it's less
beautiful. Wow.
Yeah.
And how old is she now?
She's 15 months.
It's really hard to believe that you have a baby.
Yeah, I know.
Because you see, like I say, you're so young yourself.
I can't believe it myself too.
How has your life changed?
It's changed so much. I need to run around all the time. I need to go to bed on time. Like, you have to, it's like a full-time job.
Yeah.
There's no, like, it's not it's like full-time job. It's crazy.
I saw your vlog the other day with Nalea when you were getting ready, and you said like you basically have a whole morning with her, having your breakfast and sort of sorting her out, and then you have maybe 2 hours to yourself while she naps.
Yeah.
How crazy is that for, like, how are you juggling work, life, Nalea, your boyfriend, being an influencer and everything? She's like, I don't know. I don't know how I'm doing it.
I don't know. I feel like every day goes by, and when I'm in bed, I get a chance to not think about anything. And I wake up again and I do it all over again. Yeah. So that's what it is, basically.
And do you think you and Gregory will ever have any more kids? Is that in the pipeline? Or?
Yes, definitely. Yeah? Just not now. She's a lot.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I have a strong character. Greg was like kind of a crazy child. So
really,
I feel like together, she's a little terror, you know? So not now.
Okay.
And I have another one here.
Yes, you do. So. Indeed, you do. So let's talk about your Instagram, your social media presence. You've got just about 800,000 followers. You're a pretty big deal in every aspect of life, Rose. I mean, that's a career for you also now. Tell me about that.
Yeah, Instagram. Interesting, right? I don't know. It's like
who would have thought that would become such a huge
thing? I'm still like trying to figure out what Instagram is every day. Like, what do I post? And should I be real? Should I not be real? Yeah. Like, I mean, most of the time I'm very real. I just post organic things. Yeah. I think that you know, it's all like about like how many followers you have and that kind of stuff, and that's kind of like sometimes gets a bit annoying. Because you feel like maybe you should do more, show more boobs, or you know, be more sexy just to have like, you know, that over 1 million followers. But now I'm just like, I don't really care. Like, if you follow me, you follow me. If you don't, you don't. And you know, it's better to have like real followers that love you, know you for who you are, than just like, you know, oh, she's really hot and I want to follow her to see some more titties, you know? So
you don't need that.
Well, thank you.
And you are actually one of the influencers and models that promoted Fyre Festival. So tell me about that experience from your point of view.
Oh, that was horrible. When I saw like the whole documentary, it was crazy. I never thought it was, you know, like a scam like that, because it's just like another modeling job for me. They just like ask you, you know, do you want to do a photo shoot in the Bahamas? Yeah, sure, you know. So, you know, it's gonna be, you know, Haley, Bella, Emily, you know, like all the girls that I know. So I was like, okay, fun. We were all there. We had like a great time.
What was it actually like when you were there? Shooting it?
You know what? There were no cabanas at all, but I didn't know that the festival was planned like 3 months after.
Yeah.
So when we were there, it was already a bit like tight on like rooms and stuff, like where people, you know, are gonna sleep. But I didn't really think of it like as being a scam.
Well, you're doing a job, aren't you? Like you said.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I was so shocked when I saw the documentary, because obviously like you're being associated with someone that does something like that, and that's not cool. Yeah. But once again, it's not, you know, in our power, and like there are girls that shot Fyre Festival as well that have even more following, and I feel you know, sad for them, because they will be the ones to get more backlash about it. But yeah, it's not, and like I say, it's not our fault.
No, of course. Like that's not what we want to imply at all. Of course it wasn't. You know, you were booked for a job as a model and as an influencer. How were you to know any of that was going to happen? I mean, you posted a picture of you, and I think it was the likes of Emrata and was it Bella Hadid on this yacht, and it just looked like the dream. Yeah. So how does it feel looking back on that now, on that picture and on that moment, when everything looked so perfect and incredible? And really,
I mean, it like we had a great time. You know, it's like a life experience that you will never forget. Like it's like you're young. It's like something you can't relive again, because like it was just so organic and in the moment, that like it's really nice to look back at the moment, minus what happened after with the festival. But those are moments I will always be grateful for. Yeah.
And did you guys ever reconnect and like kind of discuss how crazy the situation actually was? Because, you know, you didn't know what was going to happen.
No, we didn't really, like, maybe like one time about, you know, how crazy it was. Yeah. I spoke about it with Chanel, one of my best friends. She did it as well. And then Shanina. So we were kind of like, my gosh. But yeah, it's like we can't do much. I also like helped with raising money back to like the woman that, you know, lost her money, and so many other people that lost money. Yeah. That's really the only thing I can do. So that's what I did. Yeah.
But like you said, it was not your fault whatsoever. No. None of your guys' fault. You weren't to know what you were letting yourselves into. So with that in mind, does that kind of make you cautious with what you're doing in future, like jobs you take? I mean, there was no way you could have known that, but would it make you kind of question more if that type of thing was to happen again for you?
No, because we have an agency and we trust our agency. So whatever the agency like books us for or wants us to, you know, work for, we're like still deciding ourselves if we want to do it or not. But I mean, if you have a shoot in the Bahamas, you know, it's like not working.
I think that's actually interesting to put clear as well, to say, you know, that it's your agents that look after that side of things, and they sort of book the jobs and they present them to you, and obviously you've got a trust with your agency. So I think that's nice to clear up as well.
Yeah, definitely. For sure. Yeah.
And so with your social media following, what are your next plans? What's coming for future? What are you working on?
Oh, I'm working on something really exciting.
Oh, hold on. Can we talk about it?
I'm working on it has to do with beauty.
Oh, okay. So is it like under wraps right now?
Yeah, it's like I'm still working on it, so I don't want to like say anything. I don't want to confirm anything yet, but it has something to do with beauty and my trademark.
Oh, so when can we all, you know, is there a time that we can look out for this? When can we expect it?
In a few months, when everything is like ready and I know what I really want to do. Because like if I start something, I don't want to just, you know, just brush things, and I want to do it be sure. Well. Yeah, so be on the lookout.
Okay, exciting. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. And, you know, I've said in this podcast many times, you're doing so much at so young. What do you hope to do in the future? You're going to carry on modeling? What's happening?
I mean, modeling is still like something I really love to do. Yeah. But it's not a priority anymore as what it was before. Okay. So I'm very like picky with the things that I do. I still love to shoot and, you know, do campaigns, magazine shoots.
Yeah.
But if I do something, it has like a purpose. You know, it has to be either, you know, about my business or just like a story that I can tell. I don't want to just like, you know, work and shoot just for money. I just want to really enjoy it and have fun with it, you know, and it has to have like a purpose. So I'm still going to be modeling, you know, here and there, and then just, you know, build an empire.
Yes.
So
it's amazing that at 24 you can actually make that decision to say yes or no to jobs.
Yeah.
It's like you say, when people are starting out, you kind of have to grind and do all that and say, and, you know, feel like you've got to say yes to everything.
But that's because I said yes to all the other jobs back in the days.
Yeah.
So I've had that already. And
all that hard work's paid off.
Yeah, for sure. Because like people don't realize you're like without your family, you can't spend time with your family. Like you're always on the go. And like I say, you have to stay relevant. There's like so many models in the industry that, you know, being picked for one job can either be a good thing or a bad thing. If you say no to the job, then they might not book you anymore. So you always have to, you know, be grateful for what you get. Yeah.
And with all the experience that you have, what advice would you give to any aspiring young models out there?
I feel like everyone nowadays wants to be something or someone, right? They all want to have a status. We all, you know, want to be recognized for how we look or, you know, the way we are. So it's like we're living in a moment where everyone is someone or wants to be someone.
Yeah, especially with social media.
Yeah. So I just think that the advice that I can give is don't lose yourself in that world. Because at the end of the day, when you're gonna be sitting at home and you're 40 and you look back on life and you think, well, you know, I had like an amount of numbers on like an app versus I have a beautiful family that I created. Wow. That's the most important, you know? So that's the advice that I can give, and that's, you know, what I'm working on both, like on my family and career-wise. So I'm happy with both. Yeah.
I think that is a lovely piece of advice and a lovely moment to end this podcast on.
Yeah.
It's been absolutely amazing getting to know you today, Rosa, and you're just as incredible as I thought you were. I'm so happy to meet you and get to know you. So thank you so much for coming in and joining us in PLT and for being so open and letting us really get to know you. I'm sure our listeners are going to love listening to this episode. So thank you so much. Guys at home, this has been PLT Behind Closed Doors with Rose Bertram. And we'll see you next week.
See you.